I don't think we are adequately prepared for what could happen in terms of these videos going out there, and they'll get seen by millions and millions of people before it's even flagged as, oh, this is not authentic.
Hi, I'm Sarah Forster, news editor here at The National, and welcome to another episode of A Closer Look. Now, as we inch our way closer to the end of the year, what can we do but look forward? And in order to do that, we've brought in our future editor, Cody Combs, to tell us a little bit about his predictions of what's to come in 2024. Cody, thank you for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
So I think there's one thing we can all agree has been a theme throughout this year and is probably going to explode next year, whether we want it to or not, and that's AI, right?
Yeah, you know, it's going back to the beginning of 2023 at the World Economic Forum in Davos. That's when ChatGPT first started to take off. And from here on out, what took place was sort of like we as humans in AI, we were sort of on this collective first date. We all got onto ChatGPT or one of ChatGPT's rivals. We asked it questions. We kind of kicked it around a little bit. And it was fun, but then the novelty kind of wore off a little bit. It's still very intriguing, but now we're, okay, so we have all this capability. What do we do with it now? Well, 2024, that's when we're going to start to see some of the implementations of it. We'll look at some of the benefits, and then we might also see some of the ramifications, potentially in terms of what kind of job loss that might incur because of it, what kind of jobs might be created from it. Mm-hmm. You're going to have these large language models, which are the backbone of AI. Those are going to be implemented in various aspects of our lives, healthcare, education, and that's where we're going to really see the rubber hit the road, and we're going to see it impact us both in good ways and potentially in bad ways. So this first time around this year, we all got on the ChatGPT, we typed in our prompts, we got cool answers, some of them, we got some things that weren't so accurate, but now's when it actually goes into effect, and that's when you're gonna start to see it affect maybe white collar jobs. We'll see what the fallout is, we'll see what the benefits are, but it will start to be implemented, and we'll see what it means for all of us.
And then there's one thing that many people are concerned about, and that is information manipulation. Now, it is obviously perfectly possible for AI, deepfake, doctored videos, etc., to influence elections. Like what's being done to combat this?
Well, you have various laws all over the world, some stronger than others. You have agencies within the US, the FCC's trying to get some laws passed with some teeth on them, but so far they're just that. They're these ideas of how can we enforce this. It's sort of up to, frighteningly enough, it's up to the private sector right now to pick up the slack where the legislation is lacking. You have YouTube announcing that, okay, we're going to announce all these AI tools to help people create videos, but if you use them, it's going to require a disclaimer. This was created using AI. You've got other companies such as Facebook, Meta, announcing that, we are probably not going to allow AI tools to be used for political videos. But what is a political video? That creates a whole other set of questions. If it's done by an advocacy group, is it still a political video? It is easier than ever to create these fake videos, have them done within seconds. The stage is set right now for, I don't want to say chaos, but I don't think we are adequately prepared for what could happen in terms of these videos going out there, and they'll get seen by millions and millions of people before it's even flagged as, oh, this is not authentic. And who's to say that might not happen before Election Day? It's really unprecedented what's about to take place. It's a little bit frightening. We'll see if legislation catches up. But this is one area where I do think, I don't want to say governments are unprepared. I think they're more prepared for when you compare it to when social media first hit the scene. They just said, okay, we're just going to treat social media like television and hands off. Well, that turned out to be a major problem. You can't treat it just like television. I think they're slightly more prepared this time around, but it's one thing to say we're working on it. It's nothing to say we're acting on it.
Yeah, let's hope they learn a lesson from social media. And then one thing that has been performing particularly well over the last year, but maybe because it started in such a dark place, is cryptocurrency. So this time last year, we were reeling from the collapse of FTX, the fleeing of Sam Bankman-Fried to the Bahamas, Binance saying they will bail them out and then not bail them out, and crypto took a dive, and it's now recovered to a pretty healthy point. What do you see happening in 2024 for cryptocurrencies?
I look at it similar to the dot-com bubble that burst in 1999 when everybody said, okay, that's it for the internet. We have a couple of these companies now, they've collapsed, that's it. And that was so premature. I don't think crypto, I don't fall into the camp like a lot of crypto supporters do. I don't think it is the cure-all to all of our economic problems in the world. I do think it helps level the playing field, and I think it's something that's still going to continue to grow. And in fact, as you said, it's proven to be relatively resilient despite these two terrible things happening to FTX and Binance. But I don't think it's the cure-all. I do think we are at the beginning of a very, very long journey, not just for crypto, but for fintech companies that are offering all these different solutions where, as before, you just basically, it was you and your huge bank that you had to go to, and it was between you and the bank, and that they were the gatekeepers. They're not the gatekeepers anymore. Crypto's had a rough go of it, but I think we're in for an interesting year ahead as governments seek to regulate a little bit more. And frankly, we now know some studies say up to 105 governments around the world are starting to look into the idea of them operating their own digital currencies.
Yeah, central bank digital coins, I think, are going to be definitely something big in 2024. And then just finally, now obviously we're not covering everything in 2024 because that would be impossible. But we've just obviously asked Cody to pick a few of his favorite subjects. And I know you also want to talk about streaming services. I had it pointed out to me recently that interestingly, streaming services are allowed to obviously be owned just by one studio or one company, which is not allowed with cinemas because they thought that was immoral and unethical. And yet it's not immoral and unethical for streaming services. So I just wanted to put that out there and you can comment on it if you want.
Yeah, well, that's a thorn in the side of many people in Hollywood, and frankly, not just Hollywood, movie studios around the world. And let's face it, at first, when Netflix took off, and I'm not talking about the old Netflix where you got the DVD sent in the mail. I'm talking about the Netflix as we know today. I'm talking about the one that's streaming.
We're too young to remember that Netflix, Cody.
Yeah,
what are you talking about?
Exactly. I'm talking about the streaming Netflix. Let's face it, for about a year or two there, they made it look really easy. They just flooded the zone with tons of content, and it paid big dividends for them. And then all of a sudden, the subscribers kind of tapered off. There was content overload. They were still profitable, which encouraged other companies to have their own streaming services, take back some of their content. But those streaming services are not doing as well financially. Disney Plus is still in an area of gray right now. Whatever Paramount's offering, also in an area of gray. NBC had their own service. I think what you're going to see is a lot of these companies kind of reevaluate their streaming positions. I'm not saying they're going to shut down their streaming services, but I do think they're going to be much pickier about potentially expanding them anytime soon. And they might agree, okay, we have this hit TV show, let's license it to Netflix, let's license it to Apple, instead of trying to operate it all in-house. Because let's face it, for us consumers, it's getting pricey now. People complained about how pricey cable was, but now that you have all these subscription services, it's starting to add up, and we're like,
well, it looks like we're going to go full circle,
Yeah.
and we're going to end up with some sort of package that offers all the streaming packages together, and then we're right back at cable TV again.
yeah, weird, strange. It's everything old is new again, everything new is old. So I'm not writing off streaming. I'm not a Luddite in that sense. It's wonderful. It's enriched all of our lives. But I do think, as you said, it's come full circle now. And at the end of the day, these studios need to make money to survive and to create content. So
Well, we'll check back with you at this time in 2024.
Absolutely.
To see how these topics have gone, and then to maybe have a look ahead to 2025. I don't even want to think about that right now. All right, Thank you for joining me, Cody.
Thanks for having me.
Well, that's it for this week's episode of A Closer Look. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget, you can find all of our previous episodes on our YouTube channel.